Talking all things tariffs, looking at how it could impact on a variety of different industries, including also the automotive. Why? Because, well, a lot of analysts asking whether this new US import tariff could affect the UAE luxury, exotic or sports car market. I'm going to get onto that one in just a few moments' time. But first up, we've also got a headline with regards to some of the big brands making their first announcements. The man that's going to answer all these questions for us is Craig Stevens, the CEO of Doobie Cars, who joins us now live on the line. Craig, I want to talk all things luxury with you in a minute, but first, your reaction to this Jaguar Land Rover announcement within the last 24 hours. They're going to pause all shipments to the US to work out an approach. Are they the first of many brands that will be making these sort of statements?
Well, good morning. Firstly, I think trying to keep up to speed with what's going on is going to be a full-time job, I think. So, yeah, Jaguar Land Rover made their announcement last night. VW also made an announcement last night about they were going to reduce shipments and actually pass on the costs. Toyota also yesterday made an announcement that they would actually they would take the cost themselves and continue sending cars to America, and same with Mercedes. So I think we're seeing a real mixed bag here from the manufacturers and how they're going to respond. And I think partly it's down to financially, how can they respond? I think when you're talking about Toyota and Mercedes, they have the resources to, certainly in the short term, stomach some of these increases from the tariffs, but JLR don't. So I think, what they're doing is they're just going to hold back on production. They're going to hold back on shipping. They're going to probably hope this is a temporary tariff and then adjust in a month or two time, depending on how this pans out. So, yeah, I think for the automotive industry, this is a very, very, very tough time. I think, it takes them years to plan production cycles, supply lines, and therefore for this to come overnight is just an absolute shockwave for them. So we're going to see a mixed bag in terms of how they're going to respond.
To the other story that we wanted to get your thoughts on, this suggestion that the import tariffs are going to have an impact on Bigora, the luxury, exotic and sports car market here. Explain the link to me. I don't understand.
Well, I think there's an assumption that there's a lot of sports cars, exotic cars that are sold from this region into America. Okay. So because obviously here we have some, very special cars that are in this marketplace that are very well looked after, and they have a global attraction. And some buyers do buy from America, do buy cars from here. But it's a very small part of the market. But realistically, yes, if you're an American and you want to buy a beautiful sports car, that's an exotic sports car from the UAE, if it's made from any of those countries where there are tariffs, so if it's coming from Europe, if it's an Italian Ferrari, it's going to be subject to the same tax that if you bought it straight from Italy. So it'll be a 25% increase on that cost. And the price will be based on the price it was new. So realistically, even though it's a small market, it's going to disappear for the next couple of months for sure.
Craig, Richard here. Does this mean Supercar Blondie is going to be hit by the Trump tariffs? Is nothing safe in this world?
Nothing. At the moment, as you know, nothing is safe. But look, let's see what happens tomorrow, right? Because this 25% tariff, is it really a long-term strategy, or is it a negotiation tactic to get people around the table? And I think we have to really wait and see how that pans out over the next couple of months.
But surely, I mean, for a market like that, I get it if it was, a day-to-day runner, etc. But for an exotic car, surely high net worth individuals are just going to pay a premium, aren't they?
Look, I think people are just going to wait, right? There's a reason why these people have got money, and that's probably because they're quite clever and paying for 25% more. And that's 25% not just on the cost of the car, that's also 25% more on shipping, insurance, and everything else that goes with it. So I think everyone's just going to hit the pause button for the next 30 days, like Jaguar Land Rover have done, and just actually work out, is this really a long-term plan, or is this a short-term strategy?
In terms, but just to rest our minds, put our minds at rest, Craig, that doesn't mean we're not going to see any shortage of sports cars and supercars on the roads of the UAE.
No, look, Don't worry, Tom. I think quite the opposite. I think actually what we're going to see in the UAE, and not just sports cars, I think cars in general, I think, where manufacturers are either putting a pause or reducing volume, they've got to find homes for those vehicles. And the UAE is a very attractive market. So I think actually quite the reverse. We're going to see volume come into this market as manufacturers try and find new homes for vehicles that would have originally been going to America. And I think the other thing to consider, which I think will be a plus side for the UAE, is that we're a massive re-export hub here. We take cars from China, America, Japan, bulk break them down and send them into Africa, parts of Europe, CIS countries. And I think that's going to be very good for the re-export market. I think actually they will see volume and they'll see some discounts being offered, which will be very, very beneficial. So it's not all bad news for the UAE.
Good to hear. We sleep safe in our beds at night. Craig, bless you. Always good to catch up with you. Thanks for the insight on all things automotive. That's Craig Stevens. He's the CEO of Dubai Cars, joining us live here this morning.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.